All right. Next is the inner border, which there are 4 of them, and I am going to use a larger hoop. So I went into my hoop options and I selected my 360 rather by 260. Okay? Then I am going to use that large area to stitch all 4 of them at once. If you have a smaller hoop, you know you're going to have to do them in half, just like you did for the St. Patrick's Day inner border and outer border. So the first step I'm going to do is go into Edit Designs, and I'm going to duplicate this design 3 more times. So I can do it one at a time with the copy, paste, or duplicate icon, or you see this little fly out menu, that little arrow, I can long hold on that. All right, come on. There we go. There, that first one duplicated. So I'm trying to bring that up. There you go. So now I want to add, since I already duplicated it, I'm going to just add 2 more. So it adds 2 at once. Now they're all piled on top of each other. So I have to figure out how to put them in order. So this should be the first one that I put in. This should be the second one, and these 2 are the last 2 that I put in. So I'm just going to deselect this one right there and select this one. So now I can move that over. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to move that one over right over here. Then I'm going to pick the next one. And I'm going to move that one right over here. Then I'm going to pick the first one that I duplicated and put it right here. Now, how I arrange them so there's the optimum area in the hoop that is stitched is I take the first one and I bring it up and outside the border, and then it turns red. When that happens, any designs go out of the border or the hoop area, icon will pop up to put it back into the hoop. So that's what I want to do there. Now I am going to do the same thing with the last border. And there, now you can see better. And I'll pull it up here like that. It turns red. This icon pops up. And now so I have the first and the last one at the furthest points in the hoop. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this one up out of the hoop, back in. I'm going to move this one over out of the hoop, back in. So now all 4 of them are spread out basically even, and then they're inside the hoop, so I know none of them will be outside of the hoop and keep me from embroidering. So now I'm ready to go, and I am going to hit go. And it says to attach my hoop, which is what I just did. So let's go over here. And you will see that I have my purple selected. And that's the color that I'm using. And I'll show you the number. So the number is, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the number is 672. That's what I'm using. I like this purple, which is why I don't have much left on the spool. Okay, now we'll go over here, back over here. And you'll see that I have my strips. Now I cut the strips for you at 1 3/4 by 15. And the reason I cut them by 15 is so in case there's any shrinkage when embroidering, that it will allow for that. The design that I chose is the 1 by 14. And so then I can cut it and have the design going all across the hoop. I mean the borders, sorry. So one is going to go over here, this one over here, and this one over here. I cut them cross grain so that you didn't have to worry about making sure that the lines on your fabric were straight. Okay, so I cut the pieces all 1 3/4 by 15, even though we're going to cut them down. And then I cut the strips 1 1/2 by 13, and that should fit. So we're going to find out in a moment. So you're going to do 4 strips of batting, 4 strips of batting. Okay. All right. So the first step, and some of you aren't, I know what I'm going to do next. What I want to do is I want to hit OK. Then I want to sort all the colors and merge. So I'm going to sort them all. So we'll sew out all the number 1s, all the number 2s, and merge them together so the machine doesn't stop. All right, so color sort and color merge to do all of these. Then I'm going to close that, and you'll see the first one is the placement stitch for the batting. So let's begin. All right, let me see if I can turn this down so you can get a little bit of better view. Here we go. Alrighty. So that's the first placement stitch. And I can't, this is in the way. Let me see if I can add more light to it. All right, now the second placement stitch. And so you see by selecting merge, it just went and is now sewing the second one. Now, don't go far with this one. Actually, don't go far whenever you're embroidering. You might want to stay close in case anything happens to your file. Okay. You can see the way I spread them out that there's plenty of room in between them. Definitely does save time in my opinion. And stabilize it, because I don't have to cut it out and then put it on the next one. So there is an advantage to having a big hoop. All right. so those are all color number 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center the batting in between, or just right on top of that mark. And I'm going to tape it down. Not a big fan of spraying because I don't want to get it all over my hoop and my machine, and sometimes the floor. So I like to just, now see that little bit is not going to be on the batting, so I've got to try and line this up the best I can to make sure that the piece is on the batting. Okay. And I don't want to, I want to make sure I'm enough distance away that I don't sew the tape. So there we go. It's nice to have that flat surface to really push that tape down. And this one's a little tight, but hopefully it'll catch it. Now once you get all these in place, then they quilt, you're all done with the inner borders. And that's the beauty of doing all of them at once. And it might be a little confusing, but you're not changing thread colors. You're only using the purple color, or whatever you choose to do the quilting in. I chose the purple. Okay, so here we go. Next up, placement stitch. Remember, it's going to go around twice. Let's see if I hit it. Ah, pretty darn close. PDQ, or PDC, pretty darn close. Just missed the tape. So it's going to go around twice, and if you don't want to pick out tape pieces, you can move this down further if you want. It doesn't bother me that much because I can use that one and cut it off for the 10-inch strips. Because the inner borders, if you haven't done one of these yet, the inner borders are 10 and a half. 2 of them are at 10 and a half, and 2 of them are at 15. But I cut them all at 15, 1 3/4 by 15. Now, if you turn off your cutter, make sure you cut your jump stitches as you go along. Let's see how close. And this one's going to be close. Again, PDC. Pretty darn close. So obviously, when you look at this one, there's not going to be a whole lot of trimming here. I got pretty close. Nope. The hoop hit the... the iPad stand. A little rocky there. Now I think this is the first time I've had the opportunity to stitch the borders and do a video. But this is the same technique for all of them. Now that one's going to hit the tape. So I think I'm going to just move the tape before it actually stitches. So I'll just move the tape up a little higher right here. Sorry about all that. See what I did? I just moved the tape a little higher. My hands, it would be nice if I had two cameras, but you've heard the story. One of me only. That is close. But just realize I'm not really concerned about it because let's see if I can get that over. Because this is just a placement line. As long as I got that in right, I'm good. Whoa, sorry. Immature, or not immature. Inexperienced videographer right here. So let me get that out of the way. That was the first one I did. I got better as I went along. All right, let's go. I got a little bird's nest there. All right. None of them are straight. Maybe the first one is the best one. There you go. Okay. Some of the YouTubers have cameras or setups where they do overhead shots. All right, now we're up next to do the placement lines for the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the batting out and then I'll be back. Alrighty, so what I basically did was I visually centered the fabric piece right on top of the batting piece. And rather than do the placement stitch, I'm going to skip it. So I just centered it visually over the batting. And I am going to skip it and go to the tack down. There, I got a bigger piece of Kimberbell tape here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the screen and I am going to skip all the red stitches, go down to the purple, and as you can see, the purple are only the sides. And I just figured that the placement stitch for the fabric was just an extra step. So let's see how it goes, shall we? Okay. So as you can see, it's basting right along that edge. Now, if you turned off your cutter, then you have a jump stitch. Now it's stitching backwards, going up along the side of that fabric strip. Now the trick is to make sure that these are horizontally even. I start off a little crooked, but I think they'll be okay in the topper. See how straight that is. Not too bad. Right along that edge. Again, let's see how straight I put it down. Not bad. All right, see it's got a little dimple there. Okay, so next up, as you can see, are the blue, and the blue I changed from yellow to blue so that you could see what I was doing. So next up is the orange peel design. And there we go. And I'll be back in a bit to finish quilting. A little rough.